It's the male to female alteration conclusion, and as usual, motion sickness alert. That looks about right. So here we are. Summary of work done. I've resewn the pleats to reinforce them because if a stitch is starting to go on the fell seam, you have to anticipate that they're all getting ready to go. So the only thing to do is to stitch them all. Shortened it, of course, to accommodate the owner's figure. Now, the cloth is faded, but it's also worn in a few spots because this was a well-loved kilt, and it must have had a lot of use. So there's some things I really can't do. And we were short a buckle, so we have the original buckle on one side, but a slightly more narrow buckle on the other because I didn't have one to match that. The top band, as I'd said, the original top band was just far too thin. I mean, it was beautiful workmanship, but you can see the wear. You can see it's eroded right away. That was the edge of the front apron, and you can see it's just put my finger through it. And yarns are pulled out, so that's unusable. So by taking a strip of cloth, and can you see this is from two pieces of cloth? Can you see where I joined it together? Neither can I. I have to feel, and there it is. There's the seam. So I think I like that. I think I did a pretty good job there. So we have gave it a heavy press, so I haven't taken the basting out quite yet. And the lining is in. Again, there's nothing I can do about this erratic pleating method. I didn't quite understand. I mean, this looks beautiful, therefore it justifies that. But the next time I'm faced with pleating a kilt in a very large set like this, because the Mackenzie is huge, I'm going to take a look to see if I can find a more elegant way to pleat that. So it's all set up. The customer is going to be coming tomorrow. So as usual, the corner of the lining is left open so that I can fit it to her and place the strap, chalk it, and then sew it. And once it's sewn, I can sew that up. Now, we had been worrying about whether I was going to have to sew darts in the top, and there's another worn piece, very thin. The cloth is worn quite thin there. Whether I was going to have to sew darts in the top to accommodate the curve, but she tells me she prefers to wear the kilt much lower on her hips, not up to the natural waist, but some distance below it. So because the cloth had traveled down the curve, the need for sewing a dart was removed, because when worn a little bit lower, it fits fine. What remains to be seen is whether the kilt will stay in position when she's walking around. Because again, I've only got very limited experience. This happened one time, and I think I've mentioned it, where I had a customer who I absolutely couldn't budge his opinion that he wanted a really low-rise kilt. He wanted it at the belt line of a pair of jeans, if you can imagine that. A good distance, like 3 fingers at least below the belly button. I couldn't budge him on it. I made it. He was satisfied with it until when walking with it, because the top edge of the kilt, because the kilt's a section of a cone, as is the kilt. The body's a section of a cone, as is the kilt. When he walked, the top edge of the kilt crept up to seek the natural waist. So I don't know if that's going to happen in this case. I guess we'll find out. So there we go. It's quite beautifully faded, this kilt. It's very attractive. I'm quite happy to have worked on this. So there we go. I'm going to roll it up and put it to one side because the customer will be coming tomorrow. And it's almost time to knock off for the day, but I will maybe get to work on another kilt. Or maybe I'll slack off and read a book or something. Anyhow, there we go. Talk to you later. Motion sickness alert.